we have Kaleb because Hollow Blade is dead to us.
Hey guys, how's it going? Apparently I'm not as good as Hollow, but I guess I'll do my best.
No, you guys are equally good. It's just Hollow is dead to us now.
Yeah, he'll come back.
I
He'll come
hope
back
so.
someday.
I,
He's
I
gonna come
hope
back
so.
though.
We are 2 episodes away from episode 200, and I hope that he is here for that.
Um, yeah, is Don coming back, man?
Dawn is going to come back for episode 200.
I feel like we just had 100. I feel like that was almost yesterday. We had like a bunch of guests and stuff, right? I'm trying to remember what we
Yeah, we
did.
did. We had like Matt Bradford on. We had Yogi. We had Obi. We had a bunch of. I think John jumped in at some point.
That is right.
Pretty sure we got Jake in on episode 100. I think that's the only episode Jake has ever made an appearance on.
That's right. No, I thought he did another one randomly where we talked about like people being really into old PC games.
I think that was episode 100.
I was pretty sure that was a special before that.
Was it? It might have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember that. Yeah, we had a bunch of people on that had guest hosted before. I have nothing planned for 200.
All right. Well, a lot of things are kind of off the cuff these days, so that's fine. We have time to figure something out if we want to.
I do want to kind of do something. Like, I know I'll probably have Yogi on, and I know that I will get Dawn back for episode 200.
That would be fun.
Like, all I have to do is plug in, like, hand her my laptop, plug the headset in, and Dawn is back on the cast.
Dawn, come back. Is she in the room?
She's not in the room, and she definitely can't hear you right now because you're in headphones.
Don't kill my dreams.
No, you gotta let your dreams stay dreams.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
No, keep your dreams as dreams.
Speaking of dreams, Zelda came out, and it's the best Zelda ever.
Zelda is not out yet. Zelda comes out tomorrow.
Well, it comes out this week.
It does.
And it's
by the time you guys are hearing this, Zelda is out.
Good reviews and shit.
Yeah, like perfect from like almost everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why.
Apparently it's really good. Really? Oh, wait. Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're a couple hours in. Give it some time. Maybe we'll see what you
The
think
frame
by the
rate
end.
issues are terrible.
Are they? Are they really?
Oh my god.
That's not a good start. But
That's the only problem with the game. Everything else about that game is like, holy shit, mind blowing. Like Best Buy shipped my copy of Breath of the Wild early. If you are friends with me on Facebook, you would know that because I posted a image of Breath of the Wild, me holding the game, for you all to see.
is that your way of telling people they should be your friend on Facebook?
No, I don't really use Facebook very much. You know that.
Yeah, I'm just messing.
I'm very much a stalker on Facebook. Like, I kind of lurk on, comment every once in a while. I don't really do statuses myself. But I'm about 4 hours into the game.
Yeah.
Approximately. The game's plays really well. The story is really, really fucking interesting.
I heard it's very different, the story.
Yeah. Like, I just got like this kind of big reveal about like what the fuck's going on. Which I'm not gonna spoil. It is 4 hours into the game, but I'm not gonna spoil anything about Breath of the Wild, I promise.
Okay.
But it's like this, you find out some things and it's really fucking weird. And there's like a time jump from where it was to where it is.
Yeah, is it? I not to spoil anything. I just heard a rumor that it allegedly takes place very far in the future, and that's the reasoning behind some of the design and things and whatnot. Is that
they've announced that Link had been sleeping for 100 years. That's been announced.
Oh,
That's been announced.
is this a previous Link that we are aware of?
That's the thing. There's a screenshot that explains like why he slept for 100 years. Like, they haven't revealed any of that, but all that gets explained to you. Why he was asleep, you woke up, memory, memento bullshit happened. Like, all this gets explained to you by a character within, like, the introductory part of the game.
Okay.
It kind of looks like Twilight Princess.
Like the game itself just looks like Twilight Princess?
No, like,
or do you look like that's the Zelda
the
you
link.
think?
That it kind of.
Okay.
And, like, Ganon is called Calamity Ganon.
That, I guess that's kind of hype. Okay.
He's like this giant swirl of shadow evilness that you see at the very beginning of the game. Like, it's like, hey, look at Hyrule Castle. Oh, swirl of demon Ganon. And you find out what the fuck's going on over there, which I'm not going to spoil. But it's he's Calamity Ganon. They talk about the Temple of Time. They talk about how a hero came and collected medallions, and about the Kokri Emerald at some point. So you know this takes place after Ocarina.
Okay.
It also kind of looks like after the floods were withdrawn, maybe, from Wind Waker. I'm not sure. Like, I'm having a really hard time, like, where to place this. And I'm a Zelda fanboy, so, like, my big thing is trying to figure out, you know, where in the timeline does this fit? Like, that's my biggest search right now, is where in the timeline does this fit? And I'm having a really hard time.
You're literally searching right now.
No, I'm actually going to our main Twitch channel so I can see if there's anybody in chat and interact with them.
Oh, okay. Okay. That is very interesting, actually.
But the frame rate issues. The frame rate issues, I heard they're worse on the Switch. I am playing on the Wii U. I heard, like, you walk through the shade and your frame rates drop on the Switch. I've had, any time that there's a bunch going on, like 4 enemies plus explosions on screen, my frame rate goes to like 12 frames per second.
Yeah.
It is disgusting, like very jaggedy and not great. But what I've played so far I really enjoyed, and to me it's not a 10. Like, just the frame rated issues alone make it not a 10. Like, okay. I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn right now as well, and that game performs much better than Zelda does. But the story's not as interesting, and we'll talk about Horizon in a little bit. But right now we're on Switch and Zelda, and we're going to stay on Switch and Zelda for right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my big thing. Like, I'm really hyped and I'm really happy that this Zelda is getting all the love that it's getting from, you know, not just reviewers in the community, but, like, people are being like, oh, look at Nintendo having, like, a knockout launch title for a mediocre console. So.
Yeah. Alright, that's good. It's still, I mean, I saw all the reviews and it was like, well, I guess this means I have to get a Switch. Which, that's fine. It'll be a couple months, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing it, even just to give my own perspective, especially because it seems like this one's not going to go away anytime soon, obviously, with all the reviews and what people are saying about it. So, this is, I guess, one that's going to go down in history as far as I can tell.
The last Zelda I saw review this well was Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, Zelda's are good games, but like one that's just 10s across. I mean, any game that's 10 across the board is obviously insane. But seeing a Zelda do it is very exciting, especially.
Especially with the recent outings, they've been terrible.
Especially with some of the recent Zelda outings. Even if I like Twilight Princess, I didn't play Skyward Sword just because I heard it was so bad.
The worst part about Skyward Sword is the story is amazing. I cried playing Skyward Sword.
The story is amazing.
The story is so good.
I don't think I heard too much about the story in that game.
Because it spoils everything. If you hear somebody talk about aspects of the story of Skyward Sword, it ruins Skyward Sword for you.
Oh.
Like, Skyward Sword is the beginning of everything.
Yeah. I know that much.
And there's weird things that happen, and like you see how the Master Sword came to be, and you find out why Link always wears the green, and you find out even if they stole that from Minish, they basically cut Minish Cap out of the origin story, and you just learn all these like cool, neat little pieces about the world and about the gods and about Ganon and Zelda and why they reincarnated and why this happens and how this happens and the Triforce, the origins of the Triforce, and it's just so good. The story is just so good. The game just
it's not good.
No, I wish that I wish they would have ported that to Wii U without motion controls, because there's a Skyward Sword HD, but still uses motion controls.
They ported it to the Wii U and it still uses motion controls.
Correct.
It's kind of shitty, I'm gonna be honest.
Like, I would have played that game all day, every day, if I could just play it with, like, I'm playing Breath of the Wild. No stupid motion shit at all. So, I don't know. Yep, you're right. This one's going to go down. This is the new Ocarina. I think 2000... I don't know what it is. 2017, 1997... 7 seem to be good years for gaming.
Yeah, this is a big deal. It's exciting to see that happen at the age that I am. I don't know if it really... Obviously, I didn't really grasp what it was for, Ocarina of Time to come out when it did. I played it and I loved it as a kid, but just didn't know much about the industry or anything like that. This is really interesting. Like I said, it's one of the reasons why I know I have to get a Switch now, to at least play this and potentially, obviously, some other games. But yeah, and just reading all the reviews and everything, it just gets me really excited. Obviously, the frame rate issues do not sound super fun, but even so, it's definitely something I gotta play for myself and try out. Yeah. Any other impressions on it so far?
It's good. It's weird.
It
is the weirdest Zelda game I've ever played.
One of the reviewers said that they took the wooden board that was Zelda and they snapped it over their knee. Basically. As far as what you expect Zelda to be, which is super interesting.
You pick up weapon. It's Dark Cloud-esque. You pick up weapons that any weapon that your enemy is wielding. When you kill them, you can pick up their weapon.
Nice.
So there's so I've used spears, I've used swords, I've used claymores, I've used hammers, I've used axes, I've used did I say spears? I think I did.
Yeah.
The ton of stuff. If an enemy has a bow and arrow, like the first bow you get, an enemy is shooting you with arrows, and you just kill him and get his bow.
Oh, really?
That's
how you get nuts. His bow. Okay.
You get it within like 5 minutes of the game. Link jumps. There's a jump button.
Yeah, I heard that was throwing some people off too. Literally, just press X to jump.
Yep,
in the Zelda game.
There is a jump button. You can climb pretty much everything. I got out in the world and I went, all right, let's see what the sandbox Nintendo gave us. And I climbed a mountain. I climbed trees. I cut down trees with an axe.
You need lumber for things, yeah?
You can then cut you cut the tree down, then you have like this log in front of you, and then you cut the log and you get wood. Enemies drop crafting materials. There you can cook. Swimming takes away your stamina. If you're not dressed properly and you go into the cold section, which you have to at one point, you take damage from being cold.
Oh, okay. So is that kind of a gating, I guess? Well,
No, it's not, because you can just, like, if you have enough stuff to heal you, you can, like, wander through the snow area if you just continually heal yourself. There's also a recipe that gives you cold resist for 2 minutes if you cook it and eat it. They're spicy peppers.
okay.
So you can just, like, eat them and go. The game is not gated at all. The game is not gated at all. Oh, and there's no heart pieces.
There's no heart pieces.
There's no heart pieces.
What do you get? How do you upgrade your health?
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
I can't.
No, I know.
It ruins a part of the game. Like, if I'm like, oh, by the way, you collect this stuff from these things here, and then you turn those things in to get this, then that's how you do it. You go to these places, you get these things, which are collectibles, you take those collectibles to a place and turn them in, and that allows you to either get a heart piece or increase your stamina.
Okay.
And it's cool as fuck.
It's
There's these cool. You have a tablet. If anybody that's seen the like gameplay footage that they showed like the very beginning of the game where Link wakes up and he gets up and he walks out. That's interesting. There's armor now.
There is armor now, as opposed to.
You don't just get an outfit. You have a top and you have a bottom. You have tops and you have bottoms. And I'm pretty sure because it's Zelda, I'm pretty sure at some point you're going to get a headpiece of equipment as well.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten there yet.
This is really interesting.
Your weapons break over time, and quite quickly at that. I've yet to find a way to repair them. So you're just like, I'm at a point right now in the game where I just have too many weapons, so I can't even pick up any more. There's really, really cool abilities you get like within the first hour or two that are a lot of fun and very on Zelda-like.
Yeah, I heard that you start with most of your equipment like right out the gate.
Not all your equipment.
Somebody mentioned that like a big factor in the game was learning how to use your starting equipment in different ways to solve puzzles in ways you might not expect.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I will. Yes. I've beaten the first area of the game. That's how far into the game I am. There was no dungeon.
There's no dungeon.
There was no dungeon. There was no boss. I fought a bunch of moblins. There's these things called shrines, which are kind of like the new dungeons.
Okay.
And they're all puzzle based.
They're all puzzle based.
All puzzle based.
Oh, I'd heard that too. That there's still obviously a lot of combat, but the dungeons are much smaller and just very strictly based on challenging puzzles.
Mm-hmm. They're all puzzle based, and it's amazing. It is like I could sit here and talk about. I played this game for 4 hours. I could sit here and talk about this game for an hour. I really could. There is just so much. Do you remember what Ocarina did for Zelda, where it like took it into the 3D world, and you were like, oh, I can cut these. If I swing my sword this way, then I get this, and if I swing my sword that way and kill this monster, I get that. Mm-hmm. And it just like completely and totally opened the world for Zelda. Basically, this is the next step.
Okay.
Because since Ocarina up until Skyward Sword, Zelda ran on the same formula that worked really well in Ocarina, except for Majora's Mask, which is a one-off. But I mean, every other like main entry in the Zelda title, Wind Waker uses the same progression system, same kind of way that you traverse the world. Look around, interact with things, as Ocarina did, and Twilight Princess did the same thing, and Skyward Sword did the same thing. This game takes what you know about Zelda, keeps the core of it, and then turns everything else on its head.
Okay.
And it's amazing.
And it's amazing.
And it's amazing. Put it this way, I didn't see a Triforce in this game until the last cutscene I watched.
Was this after the first shrine?
Yes, of course. The first shrine is where you wake up. Yes, of course.
Oh,
it's after
okay.
The first shrine.
Okay, you just said you beat the first area, and I was trying to
beat the first area.
Place how that tracks. Okay.
4 shrines.
That's, okay.
4 shrines in the first area. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Like, if you have the money, go buy a Switch or a Wii U just to play this game. It's worth it.
Okay, well, let's hope that helps the Switch succeed where the Wii U didn't. Speaking of which, I was going to say, we're recording this on Thursday, just so you guys know. And, well, I was going to say, you're, like, technically the only one that you know of who has this game, right? Because Best Buy just happened to ship early for whatever reason?
Correct.
Okay. But, so anyone listening now, it obviously comes out tomorrow. I don't know if there's really many other people who have that opportunity, but I guess when people listen to it, they'll probably be out. Anyway, yeah, go ahead, go buy it. It sounds good.
Yeah, and it looks fun. It honestly looks really, really good on the Wii U. It doesn't, like, I'm not sitting here feeling really jealous of how it looks on Switch. Like, I've watched videos, everybody reviewed it on Switch. All the videos you're going to watch are it on Switch. It's comparable. It's really not that different. If anything, it's a little bit more stable on the Wii U than it is on the Switch.
That's super interesting to hear, because it sounded like most people were saying it was fine on both, but it sounds like it has issues.
Yeah, I read a bunch of the reviews, and all the reviews, even though they gave them 10s, all of them talked about how there were frame rate issues at points. And it's one of the reasons that I wanted to bring this up was because I don't understand how you have a game be a perfect 10. A 10 out of 10 means a perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Perfect game. And it have such a technical flaw as frame rate issues. Now, people are blaming it on the Switch, which, let's jump into Switch talk.
Okay.
A lot of the reviews have come out for the Switch. People are assigning it numbers like they do games, which
I think that's kind of absurd for a system, but
for me, when I look at like the Switch, or when I bought my Xbox One, or when I bought my PS4, well, not my Xbox One because I just jumped in feet first, but my PS4, and when I bought the PS3 and my Wii U and everything, I very much treat it like a new piece of electronics that'll be in my house. So I always go to like 3 or 4 different websites. I see what 3 or 4 different people say about it. I read what some of the comments section says about it, actual user reviews, and make an informed opinion there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like buying a TV. So to me, giving it, like, IGN gave it like a tentative 6.5. And I'm like, how do you say, oh, this console is a 6.5?
Tentative 6.5.
Yeah,
too much water, apparently.
Review in progress. Too much Zelda.
Too much Zelda.
Yeah, they had their first-person shooter guy review the Switch.
I'm
not even kidding.
That's kind of ridiculous, but did you see anyone else assigning it numbers? I saw a couple reviews, but they didn't go with numbers. They were just trying to be...
Did GameSpot give it a number?
Maybe.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Keep talking about the Switch, though.
Yeah, so while we're talking about Switch, just a random aside, and maybe we'll talk about it more later, but the Switch is very quickly becoming, or at least trying to be, the de facto home console for indies, actually. They've got a ton of release dates recently announced for various indie games. It starts with Shovel Knight, including the newest expansion. I'll have to look it up what it was. But the brand new Shovel Knight DLC has come out for the Switch first, and it'll eventually come to everything else in like a month and a half ish towards the end of April, which is small, but that's decent to help it start. But yeah, just a ton of things getting announced throughout the year. A lot of people making it known that their games are coming to Switch, including things like Yooka-Laylee, which are seem to be a pretty big game, at least as far as indies go. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Keep your eye on what's coming. It sounds like it's beefing up its catalog very quickly, and we'll see how the year goes. But it's sounding good to me at least.
No,
really
GameSpot didn't give it a numbered score. I think IGN is the only numbered score then that I've seen, and I've read like 4 or 5 reviews of the console.
Yeah, because that's dumb for a console. Like, it just seems arbitrary with something that, we'll have to see how it plays out over time as far as how good it is and what the catalog is and everything, as opposed to just kind of looking at what's in the box right now and trying to assign a number based on hardware, I guess. Right. Against what metrics, I have no idea.
But the thing with that, he kept comparing it that it wasn't as powerful as the PlayStation 4 and it wasn't as powerful as the Xbox One, and it's like, okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's not what Nintendo does.
Yeah, it's not trying to be as powerful as them. It's relatively close, but it's not trying to be them or compete with them in that way.
Right, and he kept. If you read the IGN review, he keeps talking about how it's going to be hard for because of this dip in power. It's going to be hard for other other game developers to port their games to the Switch, and it's actually not that hard with today's development cycles.
One of the creators of Shovel Knight came out and said, maybe it was another game. But someone fairly big in the indie community came out and said, it was the creator of Binding of Isaac, which is a release game for Switch with its newest expansion. He literally said, like, it's the easiest console I've ever seen to develop for, which speaks loads about it. But and this guy was just kind of trying to arbitrarily mark points off for whatever reason.
That's what it seemed like. And then you read his whole review, and he kind of like shits on it. And then you see the 6.5, and I was like, all right, IGN gave it a 6.5. Let me read some other people. And everybody else is like optimistic about it, and they're like, it's a nice piece of hardware. Here's some issues that we've had, but it's a nice piece of hardware. It feels nice. It like feels nice in your hand. And it doesn't feel flimsy, and it doesn't feel cheap, and the touchscreen's really nice, and it's bright enough so that you can play in sunlight if you need to. Like, the battery life is lacking, but there's other stuff that they talk about, and they go on. They're like, it's decent, but we'll have to see down the road. Because if you're gonna review a console and give it a number right off the bat, the PlayStation Vita would have gotten like a 10. And then you look at it now and you're like, it's the JRPG platform of choice. Like, if you want to play cool Japanese games, you play them on the Vita. It's like the Switch looks like it's very good for indie guys because of how easy it is to develop. And Nintendo hasn't ever had that track record of being nice to the indie guys.
They have never really been super easy to develop for either, which is one of the reasons why 64 wasn't quite as big as it could have been, was because of making people program for cartridges as opposed to discs like Sony came out with.
Which is really nice with how they're doing it now, because it's basically just on an SD card. Like, their carts are basically SD cards. Like, have you seen the carts? They taste like shit from what I hear. But
yeah, that's what everybody was talking about today. Nintendo literally used the most bitter or like most poor, the most rank tasting substance known to man, which happens to be non-toxic, to coat their cartridges to kind of discourage pets or kids from eating the small cartridges.
So they're basically SD cards, which makes it really easy for devs to develop on. And they had to do it this way because their online it's not like the old days with carts where you just buy the cart and you put it in the system. Now you not only have it on cart, but you have the people that are digital only.
Yeah.
So you have to find a happy medium there, and SD cards is the way to go with the way that Nintendo's doing it, because it's, it's just, here's the file.
Yeah.
It's a fucking
Yeah.
SD card that tastes like shit. I don't know. I wish I had the money for a Switch. I really do. Like, now that we're on the eve of it, I'm like, oh, I really wish.
Yeah,
I really wish. But
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna be sold out for at least a little short while when it first drops. So I'm hoping to grab one as soon as I get a chance, but I don't know how soon it's gonna be easy to grab one. I guess we'll see. But yeah,
I heard a bunch of stores had more than they had pre-orders for. That Nintendo
Really?
wasn't doing the scarcity bullshit that they usually do.
that would be so exciting. If I heard that, I might go pick it up tomorrow after work. I'm not even kidding.
I have a friend who's in San Francisco who's at a Best Buy right now outside with like 2 other people online because they got like 12 extra consoles or 15 extra consoles.
Ooh.
He's been there since like 3 p.m. It's his day off. So it's one of those things where it's like, you just kind of, yeah, I guess they're going to be in the wild. My guess, my hope for me is that July, August area, hopefully I can have saved enough money that I can pick one up. If that doesn't happen, then it'll have to wait till holiday.
Yeah.
Because the only game I want to play on it right now is Breath of the Wild, and I'm playing that on the Wii U. All right, so Switch, you ready to move on? I want to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn, which is the other big release.
Yeah, I think I've chatted about the whole indie thing, and we'll see what starts coming out. But I think we're good. Now on to the next game that Chris has been playing lately.
Horizon Zero Dawn. I am 20 hours into the game. Came out Tuesday. That game is a lot of fun. It is very much The Witcher meets Far Cry.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not. There is like The Witcher, there is a ton of stuff to do, and you very much lose the thread and get wrapped up in doing other things. Like Far Cry, there's a bunch of outposts that you can take down, there's hunting that you can do, there's upgrading pouches and stuff like that. The story is mildly interesting at some times, but you just get stuck doing so much other side stuff that, like, this is the problem that I have with The Witcher, where I get stuck doing, like, a billion side things that I forget what the hell's going on in the main story.
Sounds about right. I mean, in The Witcher, most of them tend to kind of bleed together and into the main story, at least. But speaking of which, the only real criticism I've heard, and this game got great reviews, was that it's just there's too much to do.
There's a ton to do.
And someone mentioned their HUD just being like a complete mess to the point they couldn't even tell what anything was. But
the HUD's actually not bad.
Well, not the HUD, but like the map in the corner of the screen.
Right. The map's actually not that bad.
Okay.
Once you learn how to read the map, you're fine. And that takes a little while. But what I like about the side quests is a lot of people are bitching about the side quests in this game. They're like, oh, they're not on par with The Witcher, and that's because they don't bleed into the main storyline. Most of the side quests that you do actually give you background on the story, background on the world that you're in, and I really like that. It makes the world feel bigger than it might be, and this world is huge, by the way. It just makes the world feel more alive and like an actual place. With an actual history, and it's cool. I have a little bit of gripes with it. Like, some of the side stuff gets boring. Like, a lot of the quests are like, hey, my family was killed by this many years ago, and here's the reason why. Go kill this thing. And you're like, okay, I like the story aspect, but then you comes to find out that you're just fighting another robot dinosaur. And you're like, okay, I really like fighting robot dinosaurs, and it's a ton of fun in this game. But you're like, but this is the 20th time I've done this.
That is not as good.
So it's like, and the story bugs me a little bit, at times, because I lose it and then I pick it up and I'm like, if we're in such a rush, why are you giving me 1,001 side quests? The other big problem I have, is just a personal problem, with the game. The game looks beautiful. It's probably the best looking game out. It looks better than anything that's currently out there. Yes. What's up?
Hello.
Hello? We might have lost Kaleb. Kaleb, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Oh, the call dropped. It's alright. We will get Kaleb back right now. So it'll be fine. We lost Kaleb there for a second.
I'm back.
So
hello?
it's yeah. Are you there? Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you. I'm here.
Okay. So we're talking about Horizon Zero Dawn. There's a personal problem that I have with the game. The game looks beautiful. It's probably one of the best looking games I have ever seen.
Wow. Okay.
The problem I have is when you're talking to people, their lips move, and you can see their teeth behind their lips, and their mouths don't always open.
That's kind of weird.
So a lot of times it looks like the characters are speaking through their teeth. So their lips are moving, but you can just see like a closed teeth behind it. And I'm like, that looks so weird. Like, for the longest time, I was like, Aloy, stop. Why do you talk like you have a lisp, but your voice actor doesn't? I don't get it. The voice acting is phenomenal, by the way. Aloy's voiced by Ash, the same person that voiced Tiny Tina.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. That's exciting.
That's like the biggest. That's the person that you hear the most in that game. The storyline. The story's. See, this is the problem. Like, I have such a conflict with the story because it's really interesting. It's really cool. It's like Jesus, like robot Jesus, dinosaur lady. But then there's points where it's like, well, why the fuck are you guys so dumb? And why are there so many loose ends that I'm never going to find out the answer to because this person died or that person died? Like, there's a little bit of bait and switch that they do at some point, like from what we saw beforehand to the actual game, that I'm not going to spoil.
Oh, okay.
That threw me off a little bit because like it was kind of a big part of their marketing and their push for the game. And then it's like, oh, that's not actually true. Okay. Aside from that, the game's fun. You use a bow and arrow. There's a bunch of different weapons that you can use. There's a bunch of different upgrades. There's a skill tree. 3 different skill trees with like 4 or 5 different like sets of stuff per 3 rows. So I think I calculated out last night, if you just got skill points from leveling, you'd have to be level 67 to get all the skills. Overall, it's like if I had to score this game, I'd give it like an 80, 88.
Okay.
It's very good. I enjoyed Neo a lot more. A lot of people online have been calling that sacrilege that I said that I like Neo a lot more than I enjoyed.
Neo got some pretty solid scores too. It's or did it? I remember Destructoid rated it really high. But I was just thinking, we've gotten a lot of good games already this year, and we're 2 months in. Like, really good games.
Freaking Nier Automata's next week, and that's a game that you're hyped for, and I'm looking at reviews for that, and I'm like, oh, that scored higher than Horizon.
Yeah, that game is apparently fucking amazing. So I was, this is just a random aside regarding Nier. I found a video earlier today made by Super Bunny Hop, if any of you guys know him. He's a great guy. Creates some great video game analysis videos. But he posted one that's basically his breakdown of the Nier series and like a quick recap as well as a quick recap all the way up to the current age of the second game, as well as like just an analysis and kind of commentary on it in general. It's really good. And one thing he actually gets into is like just the weird history that the creator, I think his name is Yoko Taro, has with creating games that are really, really intelligent, but so poorly made mechanically that no one wants to play them, which Nier kind of falls into. I try to talk about it because it has one of the most fucking amazing stories ever, but it plays like garbage. And apparently, even though the game has a huge cult following, it wasn't enough to get a sequel done. One of the Dragon Warrior creators, who works for Square Enix, literally told the board that he would quit Square Enix unless he got to make a game with Yoko Taro. And their response was a begrudging fine, but it has to actually be a good game to play.
Is that Nier 2? Is that how Nier...
That is Nier 2. So they literally they said, okay, well, let's find people who are known for making good, at least mechanically, games. And they ended up at the door of Platinum, and that's kind of how that happened. So it's super interesting to hear that story and then see like all these really gnarly scores, because apparently the game is now not just super fun to play, but it has an incredible story similar to the first one for those who played it.
So now, because we're jumping into Nier now. Nier... Explain to me what Nier is. I have no idea, and that could be one of the reasons that I just kind of laugh it off. Like I have no idea. Like what the hell was the game where you could go back in time, like rewind time? That game was a ton of fun.
That you could rewind time.
Time.
Blinks the Time Sweeper?
No, it was like a Nazi game.
Oh wait, a Nazi game where you could rewind time?
Yeah, like the very first mission, you save a Russian scientist who's going to stop the big evil guy, and then you come back to present time, and that scientist has become the bad guy.
I don't know what that is, actually. I don't know if I've ever heard of a game like that. I was thinking like Prince of Persia or like Blinks the Time Sweeper, not something like this.
See, now I'm going to have to look it up.
Okay. So while you're doing... Nier's a game that I think a lot of people missed when it came out because it got terrible review scores, which is it makes sense, but it's a little frustrating. So the game has literally one of the best stories of the 360 PS3 generation, literally one of the best, but it's hidden behind a game that is not very fun to play and is really kind of poorly made mechanically, at least as far as playing it itself. So not a lot of people really took the time to actually get into the game and really understand, really get into the points where it starts getting really unique and different. The story, which I'm, harping on a lot about, and I want to talk about, but I can't because it's so unique and there's so many twists and things that you've got to try it for yourself, is enough to get you through if you know it's there. And it just twists tons of different gaming conventions on its head. I'm going to try to post the Nier video for those who want to watch it after this podcast. We'll see if we can get that on the site too, just because Super Bunny Hop does a better job of this than I do as far as just explaining everything. But that's kind of, that's the thing. Like, I can't say much more other than that it's an action RPG that is kind of bland in its fighting without really spoiling a lot. I kind of you just got to play it. You got to play the first one.
What's the gist? Like, what's the main protagonist? What's his goal?
So the main protagonist's goal, the beginning of the game takes place in 2050 when some kind of horrible apocalypse has wreaked havoc on the world, and you're a man and his daughter, or you're playing as the man protecting his daughter from weird demon beast things that are trying to attack them in the ruins of New York City that seems to be completely covered with snow. And something bad happens to them, and the next thing you know, it's skipping ahead 1,300 years, and that same man is somehow alive with his daughter, living in basically there's an apocalypse at that point that I mentioned, and then 1,300 years, humanity has regressed kind of like to a medieval state where people live in towns afraid of these demons that are still very clearly out there, and the game kind of starts to unroll from there, with you kind of trying to piece together how this fits with that previous scenario, and it gets very twisted and very trippy, but it's good. It's a good game. I promise.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, like I'm saying, the story is amazing. It's just like getting through it. Well, especially because a lot of the mechanics, I wouldn't say they're necessarily made to be not fun, but they're kind of made that way for a reason, which you kind of understand better as you get further into the game. One reason is that the whole game is kind of a pastiche of like various different game homages. Like part of the combat is literally bullet hell shooting, because enemies will shoot bullets at you in like very big dodgeable fashion, and you will do the same thing as a sub weapon. Yeah, I'm just gonna post a video. We'll just try to share them. Can we do that? Yeah. Can we just kind of post it?
I'll post it. If you're listening to this on one of the podcatchers, it'll be in the description of the episode.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, anything else I can answer about it before just kind of devoting the rest of the next 20 minutes to talk about here?
No, I was interested, and I saw that it was getting really good review scores, so I was...
Yeah. And that was one of the reasons for Bunny Hop posting the video, because he knew that looking at the good review scores that people were going to be really curious and want to know what the big deal with it was, so he put together that video that's about 20 minutes to try to explain everything and give people a sense of it. So maybe watch his video at first and then decide if you want to play Nier, actually. That's probably more ideal. But
yep, that's what I'll probably end up doing.
Because at the same time, even while I say play it, he would be probably saying the opposite thing, but still trying to explain why it's cool. So maybe that makes the most sense. I'll just do that. But yeah, so I mean, super excited to... And obviously a demo dropped a couple months ago. I don't know if all of you saw that on PSN, and it's really fucking good. Like, mechanically speaking, it's really interesting, and it looks like it's going to be a really fun game on from every angle. So, yeah.
The game I was thinking of was Singularity, by the way.
Oh, okay. No, I do remember that. You find the Russian guy who... I remember because it looked really interesting. It was kind of like a slightly Bioshock-ish knockoff, where some Russian scientist gives you a time control device on your hand, and you use it to fight evil and demons as you're going through the space.
Russians.
Okay.
It's like Memento. It's like Memento.
Okay.
Dude, yeah, the sevens are so good. I'm sorry, I've been caught up on the years that end in sevens, and how like 97 we got like Final Fantasy 7 and Ocarina of Time and Metal Gear Solid, and so I was like, what the fuck did we get in 2007? Because 2017 seems like it's being another really good year. And I'm looking through this list of Wikipedia of what we got, and I'm like, oh, Bioshock's 2007.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Skate's 2007. Heavenly Sword was 2007. Rock Band 1 was 2007. Halo 3 was 2007. It's like I'm into October right now, and I'm like still going through... Oh, the Orange Box was 2007. So Portal was 2007.
Ooh.
Beautiful Katamari was 2000. Holy shit! Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It seems like sevens are the good years, like the best years. The Witcher was 2007.
Was the first Witcher 2007?
Yep.
Oh man.
Witcher was 2007.
Oh, that's exciting. It's funny to think about.
Super Mario Galaxy was 2007.
Super Mario Galaxy was 2007. Wow.
Like, there's shit in here, too, like Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles. Oh, Crysis was 2007. Assassin's Creed 1 was 2007.
That game was 2007. I remember. It was that holiday season.
Uncharted was 2007. Mass Effect was 2007.
Alright, so this might be a pretty fantastic year for games.
Sevens. Yeah, look at the sevens, guys. I'm blowing the door off this conspiracy. They save all the good shit for the sevens. They save all the really, really good shit for the sevens. Because so far this year's been amazing, and we still have a ton of games left to come out.
We still have a ton of games that are, some of which are looking incredibly exciting. Some more which might even get announced before the end of long, and then come out by the end of the year.
Borderlands 3?
Borderlands 3. I wish. I don't know if it's... I think he mentioned something about announcing it soon, but that's well, I mean, yeah, maybe if they can pull what was it? Was it Obsidian?
What?
Um, who makes Skyrim? It's Obsidian,
Bethesda?
right? Oh, Bethesda. What am I thinking? Yeah, if they can pull a Bethesda and just announce a game and then release it in a few months, that'd be kind of amazing.
Well, what Gearbox normally does with the Borderlands franchises, they usually announce at PAX East.
Yes.
Like pre-sequel was announced at PAX East, came out that holiday season. Borderlands 2 was announced at PAX East, it came out that holiday season. He said that they'll be announcing it soon. PAX East is a week away.
Ooh. Ooh. I didn't realize that.
So
Eh,
maybe it's possible.
maybe.
It's possible.
Hopefully.
I can't. We're not going to PAX East, so I didn't have to apply to see any of their stuff, which means I won't know beforehand like I did about Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel and be able to tell Kaleb and Hollowblade about it. But I can. So that's a sad thing about not going to PAX East. But they usually like to announce games there. The other people that like to announce games at PAX East is Ubisoft for some weird reason.
Why does what did they announce last year? I'm trying to think.
I don't think they announced anything last year because we didn't get a new Assassin's Creed Assassin's Creed game this year. But Assassin's Creed 3 was announced at PAX East. What was the French one?
The French one.
The bad one.
Oh, Assassin's Creed Unity?
Unity was announced at PAX East.
Oh man, I still have Unity.
So do I. We beat that game in one sitting together.
you said that with such a romantic undertone. Yeah, I only ever beat the co-op campaign. Remember we played like the gnarliest missions we literally just jumped right into the gnarliest missions and then beat them with the power of our sheer will to get the best equipment.
Well, it wasn't that hard.
No, it wasn't.
Like, we were both Assassin's Creed players, and if you were an Assassin's Creed player and you're decent at Assassin's Creed combat, you could go into the hardest co-op mission that there was in Unity and just be like, oh, now I've got a really rad sword that kills everything in the single-player campaign in one hit.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. It's how you make a game.
Yeah, that's totally how you make a game. Totally.
And then we spent most of the time like doing other missions, kind of, but they were all kind of easy, and they gave us garbage.
I beat that game though, because you play the co-op missions in that game, and that gets you through most of the main storyline, and then you just go fight the last boss.
Oh, really?
I
didn't even know that was.
And then the game's over, and you're like, oh, that was cool. And then you just put it back up on the shelf, and you're like, okay, next.
All right, cool.
Next, thanks. Whereas, like, Syndicate was a really good game, and nobody talked about it very much.
Syndicate might be my favorite.
Black Flag, so good. Black Flag is so good.
Black Flag is fantastic. People who say that Black Flag is a good pirate game and a bad Assassin's Creed game, I'm sorry, but go fuck yourself. With love.
With love. Fuck yourself with love.
Yeah, I don't understand that argument at all. Well, I mean, I understand it. I just think it's poor.
So, what are you playing right now, Kaleb?
Right now, I'm literally doing my weekly Dark Souls 2, run through. But no, I put in a couple hours every week in Dark Souls 2 because the DLC expansions are fucking hard, and I'm very slowly whittling my way through them, which is why I was doing that right now. But right now, I'm still working on Neo.
How far are you? We haven't talked about it because we.
I also have not played a lot of Neo, actually.
Oh.
I'm whittling my way through that too, mostly because I don't necessarily play it as much, and when I do, I move really slowly and carefully and whatnot, because that's like how I like to play those games the first time. I'm playing TitanFall, at least multiplayer.
Yeah.
Haven't broken into the campaign yet.
I have.
Yeah, I've seen. I mean, seeing the game played through the campaign was the reason that I bought it, honestly, and why I suggested we buy it when it was so low. So we all bought it, Chris Hollow and I, to play together on Friday night. We spent a couple hours. It was pretty fantastic, and we've been popping it in every now and then for a few rounds. That game's really fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
It's really good.
Sorry, Yogi, we got it on PS4, not Xbox One. Mainly because Kaleb doesn't own an Xbox One.
Yeah. But still good game. Excited to be able to play it. So you said the campaign was kind of or at least...
Playing the campaign is very boring. It's very much... It falls into a formula very quickly, and you recognize that formula very quickly. By the time you get to the third mission, you're like, okay, now I know this formula. Basically, the mission starts, you're in your Titan. And you fight to a certain point in the level in your Titan, and then your Titan gets taken away. And then you fight on foot, and you do like cool jumpy moves and fight a bunch of fucking shit ton of enemies. Trying to get back to your Titan, and then you get back to your Titan, and then you go fight a boss who's in a Titan. And then you kill the boss, and you get an upgrade for your Titan, and then you go to the next level, and you do it again.
Some of the levels and like the fights and stuff look really cool though.
They can be like the boss battles are like the coolest part of it. It reminds me of playing Zone of Enders. Even the storyline itself reminds me of playing Zone of Enders. Do you remember Zone of Enders?
I never played Zone of Enders. I should play Zone of Enders at some point. I just never did.
Zone of Enders is a very for those that don't know, because I'm old. Zone of Enders is an old PS2 game that was done by Konami. Konami, right? Konami?
That was Konami. That was Hideo Kojima. I think
it was originally released, and the reason that it sold very well was because it came bundled with the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo disc.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
And it sold gangbusters. And not very many people touched the game. Most people just played the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo because it was like 2 years. We were 2 years out from Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah.
So it was like, holy shit, we get to play this game, and it was most of the tanker level on the demo disc.
Yeah.
But Zone of the Enders itself is a robot versus robot third-person shooter type game, and it's fucking amazing. The story is very much like there's all these different human colonies on all these other planets, and there's this evil, like, Empire Star Wars style that is destroying these colonies. And you play a young boy, I think you're like 13. And you watch your family die in front of you, and you escape to this warehouse, and you crawl inside, and that's how you become an EVA pilot.
And that's how Neon Genesis Evangelion for PS2 starts.
Well, the problem is that the robot is named Eva. It's EVA. In Zone of Enders, and you're like, so I'm like, oh, that's how you become an Eva. Well, it's how you become Eva's pilot. And you kind of she kind of blasts you off into space, and you're like, no, save the people. So Titanfall is very much along those lines. You play a grunt soldier who wants to become a Titan pilot, and then the main guy, your commander, dies and transfers the codes and shit to you, and now you're a Titan pilot. Congratulations.
You're really good at driving that thing for some reason.
And it's interesting, and the story was cool until you were like, I am fighting Dr. Wily and his robot.
I mean, I'm super fine with that.
And
the levels and stuff look really fun.
They would be if they weren't all the same.
But they're not all the same, right?
The the backgrounds aren't the same.
Did you get to the time travel level yet?
Probably if there's a time travel level. I think I might be right before the time travel level. Then
You don't even know.
Is there really a time travel level?
See, the fun thing about this game that you see, you're picking up a lot of it, but I feel like there's still some stuff you have to go. Is the fact that literally every single level introduces a new mechanic you get to play with, and then removes it and then adds in a different one in the next level. So I could see it being boring, like if it was just the way you explained, but like you got to know. Oh man. And I'm not, and that's not even a spoiler. I'm saying like if that's what it takes to get you this game, you should buy it and play it because it's really good. Are you looking that up?
Yeah, I guess there is a time travel level.
Yeah, dude, you get I won't explain it for what happens in the story, but very briefly, you come across like a destroyed secret science lab that's like outdoor on a plateau, and you get a piece of equipment that's in there, and it lets you jump back to like maybe several days before, and there's puzzle solving where you're literally jumping back and forth between those time periods as you move through the facility.
That's cool.
It's super interesting.
See, like, because right now the problem that I have with it, and the reason I stopped playing the campaign, was because of the fact of it's just kind of like, okay, you go here and you shoot a bunch of things and you jump around and you jump off of walls, and then you go here and now you're doing mostly platforming, but you're platforming and shooting at the same time.
Yeah.
And now you go here and now you're platforming, shooting, and avoiding stuff at all the same time. And it's like, I see what you're saying where they're like, okay, well, here's a mechanic, and then we'll take it away, and we'll teach you how to do this, and then we'll incorporate that into the next level, and kind of builds up till you're like this awesome pilot. But it's just like, where I am in the story, I'm like, this is boring. This is boring as fuck.
Alright.
Like, but multiplayer's fun as hell. I enjoy multiplayer to tons and tons of multiplayer.
Oh, multiplayer.
Like,
it's good.
Even when Hollow's not with us, like, we played the other night and I had a ton of fun.
Yeah, that game's super fun to play with other people.
I don't know have you played on your own yet?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's kind of annoying being able to hear everyone until you silence them. But other than that, some people are really good at that game, really good. Mm-hmm. So it's a little harder when you don't have someone to communicate with on your team. But it's still a lot of fun, just not quite as fun as, having someone to talk to. It's kind of funny that like this whole game is built around Titans, because it seems like the most popular multiplayer choice was pilot versus pilot, and you just run around in parkour in Call of Duty style, but you don't ever get to summon your robot. Titan versus Titan was probably my favorite gameplay mode. I don't know about you.
Oh, where we destroyed those guys?
Yeah, Last Titan Standing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, I guess other games have similar styles called like Extinction or things like that, where literally you only have one life, and whichever team is still standing when the other team dies, gets the point, and then it goes back and forth. But you have to stay in your Titans the whole time, or at least if you don't. You don't have to, but if you leave, there's a good chance you're going to die pretty fast. But you could still technically do it as like a end game strategy if you go down.
Like if your Titan dies, you can eject out and still run around and be helpful to your team without a Titan.
Yeah, and theoretically try to help them take down Titans, but it didn't seem easy for the people that I saw. But that game's so good.
Yeah, the game's really good. Like, I'm sitting here debating, like, I was gonna play some more Zelda before the podcast, after dinner, and I was like, I have an hour, and like, I don't want to jump into Zelda for an hour. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll play Horizon. And I'm like, nah, because if I jump into either game, I'm gonna be playing for a while, and I probably would have been like, never mind about the podcast. And one of the big things that I've said for 2017, excuse me, is that I don't want to miss a bunch of episodes. Like, we always miss, a handful here and a handful there. Like, I want to be a lot more consistent than we had in the past. So I was like, no, I'm not going to play games. So instead I talked to my wife, and we texted you, and I watched YouTube videos. That's what I did.
Alright. That's cool.
So it's just one of those things. I'm having a lot of fun though. Like, my wallet doesn't thank me because I just bought 2 games at retail, like release games, which I don't do anymore. Like,
yeah, I don't either, and I picked up both Neo and pre-ordered Nier Automata, which doesn't look good on the credit card or on the debit card, but it's, I don't know.
Like,
it's good to spurge once in a while.
Like, I bought Neo, and I beat Neo. Like, my big thing was, like, I didn't want to buy any games until I'd beaten the previous game that I had purchased.
Okay.
Like, Titanfall was a one-off thing where it was like, oh, I'll just play this game for the multiplayer. It doesn't really, like, for me, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to play the single player on this. That's what I'm going to do. And then I bought Horizon, and my original plan was I had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to play Horizon. And then Zelda came early.
Zelda came early.
So I'm like, fuck. So now I lost Thursday to play Horizon, and I lost up until when I thought it would be delivered, like, mid-afternoon tomorrow. So I lost all that time to play Horizon. Now I'm stuck, like...
Now I gotta play Zelda.
First world problem to a T, but now I'm like, no, I have to play Zelda. But the bad part about that is now I have 2 great games that I want to play, and I'm not going to do anything else. Like, I want to go see Logan, but I'm probably not going to.
Oh, I'm going to see that this weekend. I'm super excited to see that fucking movie.
Like, I want to go see Logan, but I'll probably stay home and play Zelda.
I'm ready for an X-Men movie that is good. That is really good. Again.
Go watch X2.
X2 is really fucking good. But Logan's really good. Really excited to see that. I know a lot of you are, and it's getting phenomenal reviews while we're talking about games and things that are very highly reviewed these days. Also, go see Get Out. That movie's really good as well. But,
is it scary?
I don't think you or I would... Well, I didn't necessarily find it scary. I'm trying to remember. I think it was mostly just creepy. But, no, not necessarily. It's not... I mean, it does have some pretty good scares. I think most people wouldn't think it's scary. Like I said, me or you. But it's still... Even
is it because we're not black?
No, it's not just because we're not black. But... regardless, it's still, even if it's not necessarily scary for you, it's still a very enjoyable film. Has a lot of fun things to say.
That's the one that's like they're in an upstate New York town, and they like Stepford Wives the black people, right?
Basically, yeah. It's super twisted, but it's just a super interesting commentary on racial differences in America and subtle racist tendencies that all of us might have that we don't ever necessarily think about, and just kind of plays that up for comedy and laughter. Mostly dark comedy, what is there, but comedy and scares.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready to wrap up?
I am perfectly ready to wrap up.
All right, go ahead, wrap up then.
Yeah, well, thanks guys for listening. I already totally blanked on what I was saying. Where can they find us, Chris?
You know where they can find us.
They can find us. I'm at Blinded by Pixels on Twitter, although I don't know if you want to. If you
okay, the Gaming Death Podcast does not endorse Twitter.
I'm not saying we endorse Twitter. I'm just saying that's the first thing I remembered, so that's what I jumped into.
Right.
Was my Twitter
Don't
handle.
follow me or Kaleb or Hollowblade on Twitter. We don't use it.
You can follow me, but it's a lot of stuff about process management and process improvement. So unless you guys are like super down with the corporate world, I mean, if you are, by all means, but it's probably not super interesting to most of you.
You should like us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/gamingdeath.
Yes.
We are. When are we live, Caleb?
We are live Thursday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, and you can figure out the math in between. Try to be every week. Things happen.
9:30-ish.
9:30-ish is probably more fair. Yeah, try to be live every week.
Where?
Even
Where
if
are we live?
What's up?
Where are we live?
Twitch.tv/gamingdeath.
Yes.
And we're on. Are we on the SoundCloud and the other fucking one?
We're on iTunes.
iTunes. Are we on SoundCloud at all?
We're on Stitcher.
Stitcher and iTunes. Why did I think SoundCloud?
We're on SoundCloud.
We are on SoundCloud.
We're on Google Play.
We are everywhere now.
We are fucking everywhere now.
We're everywhere. So if you guys want to listen to us, just find us wherever we are.
And you can send us an email to podcast@gamingdeath.com. That's podcast@gamingdeath.com. Send us your emails. I think maybe next week we're going to do a listener special where we're going to answer your emails right here live on the show. So make sure you get them in.
We like that as much as some of the things they say to us.
Yeah, don't worry, I won't. None of the trolls. And if hopefully Hollow's back, because I know he loves the listener specials.
He does love the listener specials.
Also, guys, make sure you guys head over to geekyantics.net. There's some awesome stuff going on over there. And you can also listen to some great podcasts just like this one. We've proudly been one of the main shows over on Geeky Antics since pretty much they started. So definitely check them out, guys. I love Geeky Antics. I love the gang, and I love Geeky Antics, and I love Yogi. I don't know if you heard, but Obi is no longer part of Horseplay Live, and I don't know if he's part of Geeky Antics anymore.
Wait, what? Wait, really?
Really?
Obi, Mr. Little Girl with the Bear.
Yes, Mr. Little Girl with the Bear.
Who's doing their podcast with Yugi?
You should listen to Horseplay Live right now.
Oh, no, the suspense is killing me.
Twitch.tv/Geeky Antics. Listen to Horseplay Live. 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Twitch.tv/Geeky Antics. But
blinded by Pixel.
That's going to do it for tonight. I'm Chris.
I'm Kyle.
Have a good night, everybody.
I guess.
And that's the show. Hey, chat, there's not very many of you here. I know John's sick, so I know that's why he's not in the chat today. Have a good night, guys.